Hi guys, it's me, that divination witch, and I hope you're doing well. Of course, I'm back with another witchy video, and I'm going to be answering some frequently asked questions that I am getting quite a bit. So if you don't know me, if you're new here, I'm Sarah, that divination witch. I do a lot of readings for people, and especially readings to do with deities and deity work, paganism. I confirm what spirits are around people quite a lot. I have a knack for it. And so I'm making this video for anyone who has or is thinking about getting a deity reading from me or anyone else. I'm going to answer some frequently asked questions for you. Let's get into it. Like I said, if you're new here, hi, I'm Sarah, that divination witch. I hope you stick around. Give it a chance. This channel is a safe space where I try and help people best I can. I answer your questions. I ask people to help each other in the comments below. Don't feel scared. Everyone is welcome. No questions silly. Ask away. We're all different at the end of the day. I don't like it to be judgy here. And if you want to get a reading from me, all my stuff's below. I've got Patreon, teaching things on there as well, teaching tarot. It's all linked below. I'd be grateful if you could check it out. Thank you. Right, without further ado, I'm going to get into some FAQs. So, the first and most common kind of question that I get is, well, connecting with deities and like what does it entail? So this is kind of a broad question, but I'm going to try my best to answer it. Deities, well, the way I see them personally, other people might see them differently, is that they are a persona, an avatar, an archetype of the creator, of the higher power that created everything and everyone. And they are here to help us, no matter what pantheon they're from, no matter what side of the spectrum they're on, light or dark. They're here to help humanity, whether you want to hear that or not. The culture that deities come from can reflect who they are, who they appear to us as. So Hecate, I mean, she is a complex lady and there's a lot to her. I speak about her a lot on the channel. But to give an example, Hecate is quite similar to Diana. There are differences though. They are different people. They have different backstories, different cultural influences. Similar but different. Another example off the top of my head could be Zeus. And it could be Yahweh. And I mean, Yahweh, very complicated man in himself because he has turned into, the Abrahamic God, but still, cultural differences, similar roles, not the same though. And this is the case for all deities. They are archetypes. If you look at some of the most ancient mythologies out there, some people have theories that they're all just the Mesopotamian gods. I've heard that time and again. They are and they aren't. Enki and Enlil is meant to be Yahweh and Lucifer. Well, they are and they aren't. They're still Enki and Enlil. They are still Enki. They are still Enlil. They are still Yahweh. They are still Lucifer. And even Lucifer, he's different depending on the guise he comes to you in. It's complex. And then let's top it off. Let's make it more complex. Deities have epithets, which means the deity could be from this one culture but have different sides to them. So it's just like me and you. You might have different attitudes towards different people. You might act a certain way around your parents. You might act a certain way around your bestie. And you'll act a different way in work. It's different attitudes. And then let's not forget as well, we have emotions and feelings and moods and things like this. And although deities may not feel like humans, they may not have the exact same sorts of emotions as us. They still have them. So it's not so simple. It really isn't. I mean, I think of angels as well. Angels are always kind of either fluffy to some people or kind of robotic to others. People say they don't feel the way we do and all of this. And maybe they don't feel the way we do, but it doesn't mean they don't feel at all. And it doesn't mean that they can't help us or want to help us. And it doesn't mean that they're not as equally complex as other deities. I mean, look at the archangels. In Catholicism, they're called saints. And I know Michael, the most popular one, he has different, I suppose, epithets. Depends on the branch of Christianity and all of this jazz. So, yeah, connecting with a deity and who they are and all of this, it's a big kettle of fish. And what I would say to you is to try not to get overwhelmed, even though I've explained all of that. Connecting with a deity can be as complex or as simple as you want to make it. I've said it on the channel before. I made a whole video about it. Research is key. So say, for example, all right, you might be interested in Loki, for example. Okay, so research Loki. Read his mythology. Read up on it. Read up on his stories and what he is supposedly responsible for and not. Look at other people's UPGs. Look at YouTube. Even though it's not exactly reliable all the time, still look at TikTok. Look at other people's point of views. Read some books. Research. Make your own mind up. And then interact with them yourself. Now, to connect with a deity, you can light them a candle. You can speak with them. If you know divination, do that. If you don't, meditate with them. If you struggle doing that, ask for signs in a dream. Think of them. Give them energy. Imagine they're with you in a way, and spend time with them. It's like if you invite a friend over, you're going to do different things with different friends. Some friends might like to watch a movie with you. Someone else might want to play a video game. Someone else might just want to have a coffee and a gossip or whatever. We're all different. We like different things. Our friends like different things. It depends on the day. It depends on, if it's raining outside, you're not exactly going to go out in your shorts and, go sunbathing, are you, in the rain? It depends on external factors too. So it is nuanced. It is complex in that way, but it doesn't have to be overwhelming. So whatever deity you're interested in or you found out is interested in you, take your time, read up on them and go from there. That's the first thing to answer. Another frequently asked question is, how do we know our deities and why? Why do we have them? Well, deities can reach out to us and be interested in us for many different things. And this is coming from my experience. So we can have deities linked to us from ancestry. We can have them linked to us from past lives as well. We can have them linked to us just because of our circumstance, where we live in the world, what we're going through at the time, what resonates with us. Think back to antiquity, no matter the mythologies, no matter the time period, a lot of places had patron deities. Most famous one, Athena of Athens. If you live in Athens right now, Athena could be looking out for you still. If you live somewhere where there was a patron saint, they could be looking out for you still. It doesn't mean that they've stopped existing just because life's changed, just because society has changed and we're in the modern world. It doesn't mean the roots aren't there and the history isn't there, the connection isn't there. It's like Sulis Minerva in Bath in England. Just because the Roman baths are not functioning like they used to, it's more of a museum now, doesn't mean the connection to Sulis Minerva is not there anymore, or Sulis. So it could be that, all right? Yes, past lives, we've all had them, okay? We've all got theories on them. Not everyone believes in them. Believe what you want. I'm not going to force you. But from experience, we've had several past lives. A lot of us have had many. A lot of us are old souls on earth now. And, you could live in another part of the world in a past life. Now, I'm not saying that's open season on closed practices and things like that. Absolutely not. But it doesn't mean you don't have that connection. I had past lives myself in East Asia and Japan. I do have connections there. I don't actively work with the deities from there. I respect them. I have venerated them. But doesn't mean I want to do that. It's what's personal to you. But it doesn't mean they're not interested in my soul anymore. And then other deities as well through ancestry, like my Norse ancestry. I've got a lot of Norse deities that know me. But it's not just the Norse, and there's sides of me that I haven't even explored yet, and maybe I will in time. There will be Christian saints, there will be angels, there will be, more Abrahamic things that a lot of us who are pagan, especially if you're newly getting into this, don't want to face up to that side of things. Well, like it or not, they are still looking after you, basically. And you know what? We don't always have to get along with our ancestors or who they believed in, and you don't have to resonate with their values or whatever, but doesn't mean they don't care. And same goes for deities that can just help you through a certain time in your life. If you're going through something, it could just be happenstance. It could be like, right, I know about this thing. I'm going to help you with it. Boosh. It is not linear. It is not always a connection for life either. So I think that's a common misconception as well, that, they must be with me for life. Sadly, no. It doesn't mean they're heartless. It doesn't mean they've stopped caring about you. But say, for example, Aphrodite might swoop in to help you love yourself and learn to love yourself and all this. And then finally, it could even be years down the line, you've learned the lessons. Aphrodite is going to go. She's fulfilled her role and the connection's fulfilled. Doesn't mean she can't come back. Doesn't mean she won't. Just means, well, for now, the lessons are done. See you later. And someone else might come in. That's just an example. So try not to get in your head about that either. I think a lot of us are conditioned to believe it's got to be some lifetime connection. It's not always that way. However, speaking of lifetime connections, well, yes, some deities you can have lifetime connections with and multiple lifetime connections with. Hence why some deities come to us from past lives, yes. And there are some deities that say, well, you're my, I'm your patron deity or whatever. Now, a patron deity was normally, the patron of a family or a place or something like that. And a patron doesn't mean always that, well, they're going to have to be your one and only. You can have more than one, and I know I do. Hecate obviously is going to be one, but Zeus has been another, and Frigg has been another, and Izanami has been another. And it doesn't mean that these patrons of mine, these main deities of mine per se, are always actively in my life, in my practice all the time. They've got different connections with me, and they have been important to me in my current life and in other lives, and it's not what you think. So when it comes to paganism, it's polytheism. And, even in, say, ancient Greece, even then, they wouldn't just pray to just Zeus, There was many festivals for many gods, and depending on where you lived, depended on which gods were more important than others, sort of thing. There was different patrons and matrons and whatever. There was cult worship as well. That was a whole thing in itself, people worshipping in different ways. But then even when you gave an offering, you might have done it to more than one deity. You might be in Athens and you might say, right, okay, Athena, I'm giving you an offering. Zeus, I'm giving you an offering because you're the king of the gods. Hestia, you're getting an offering because you get an offering from everyone anyways, so you're getting a part of this. Oh, and I'm going to give a bit to Dionysus because it's his special time in December or something. You would do that, and it's not like Christianity or Abrahamic religions, which I think a lot of us subconsciously are used to, even if you're not from that background. I think it's because of society as a whole. We all think the one God, monotheist society. So, oh no, it's the one God and his angels back him up sort of thing. No, it's not like that. And then on top of that, let's add another thing into the mix. There are other spirits as well, which I'm trying not to get too complex into it because this is for my deity confirmation readings. But we all have spirit guides, we all got guardians, ancestors, nature spirits are around us. The spirit realm is so blooming complex. We are blind to a lot of things. And there are things, I don't want to scare people, but there are things, entities, good and bad, other sort of beings, ghosts, spirits, all sorts of things around us constantly. We all coexist on different vibrational levels. So there's a lot of people that care about us and vice versa. It's not as straightforward as you might think. So if you get a deity confirmation and you want to connect with these deities, do what I said, research them, light a candle, whatever. Now, if they're reaching out to you, you don't have to reach out back, and vice versa. It works two ways. So, I've had some people as well who are like, oh, I don't think I'm ready for that. That's fine. I can't control who comes through for people. Just from experience when I'm doing a reading, you might be at a time in your life where the lessons, whatever being is going to teach you, might be too intense, or you might not understand them yet. I've had a lot of lessons thrown at me in my 30s that I know I wouldn't have gotten in my 20s. So time to the spirits, to deities, to other beings, time is different. So they're just making themselves known, and you know what, you don't have to do anything more than that. You don't have to do anything. They're more understanding than you may think as well. That's another misconception of like, oh, well, if I don't do an offering a certain way, they're going to smite me, are they going to get angry, are they going to hurt me? No, get that out your head. If at the end of the day, they're higher powers, right? If they wanted to hurt you, they wouldn't bother even letting you know they were there. They would just do it. I think we get in our heads about a lot of things. Now, another frequently asked question, and this is more in realms of guardians, because I do guardian angel and guardian demon readings. So I just wanted to kind of explain a bit about that. So angels and demons, I use that label because people understand the labels, but it doesn't mean they're all love and light and dark and shite. I just wanted to do a rhyme there. Love and light and dark and shite. But it doesn't mean that, right? It's not angels and demons as in Abrahamic sense. It is light beings. It is beings that are on the lighter path and beings that are on the darker path. Polarities. And I, as a person, am in the middle. Hecateans normally are. We're in the middle doing our thing. Some people are more attracted to the positive. Some people are more attracted to the negative. That's all right. Now, they're all capable of good and bad, all right? Because there is not good and bad, good and evil, as in Michael slaying Satan, or I don't know, whatever bullshit you want to say, which has been touted to us all through not just religion, but Hollywood and all of this. It's not like that. It truly isn't. So angels, as an example. Angels, even the archangels, Gabriel, right? He's in my head right now because I did a reading for someone recently. If you, the person who got that reading, hello, and you'll see what I mean. So Gabriel came through as somebody's guardian angel, right? Now, guardian angels can be more personal, and I'll get into that in a second. But Gabriel came through for this person, and Gabriel explained that they are known as the messenger of God. God, a messenger. They are also known as like a healing energy, but they are also known as a psychopomp, meaning an angel of death, meaning they ferry the dead to where they need to be. Archetype wise, you would say that's like Hermes. Hermes does the same sort of things. Okay, I didn't quite realise that, to be honest, about Gabriel until this reading, because I've never worked with Gabriel and never had to really research into them. But it makes sense. So, depending on how you meet Gabriel, depends on your view of him. If Gabriel is coming to you with some nice energy, healing energy, you're going to think, wow, you are amazing. I love you. You are love and light, healing, lovely. If Gabriel comes to you and says, right, time's up, pop your clogs, off your pop, you're going to shit yourself. You're going to think, you are evil, you're taking me, you're killing me, you're taking my soul, oh my God, oh my God. You're going to freak out. That's the human side of us. Life and death are needed, and it's scary. I don't want to die. I know myself, like, who's sane wants to die? But it's going to happen to us all. And it's a necessary evil. It's a necessary part of life. It's a necessary darkness. And light beings can do this dark thing. Now, on the other side, all right, I'm going to talk about this one. This is difficult because it's personal, but screw it. I'm going to tell you. Lilith, right? She's one of the deities that helps me in my life right now. I love her very much. Aside from that, right? Lilith is known as mother of demons, mother of vampires, all these things. I mean, she's complex. She's found in Judaism, the Zohar, the Talmud. They talk about her as this demonic succubus sort of spirit. And that she is responsible for unalivings of minors, let's say, which is terrible. Terrible. You look at that, if you see Lilith through those eyes, you think she's evil. She's pure evil. Why would you ever want to work with her? Why would you ever want to respect someone who hurts kids? What the hell? You would. And like, I agree. It's a necessary evil, though. As fucked up as it is, people die of all ages, and somebody has to be in charge of it. Somebody has to do it. Like, somebody has to be the face of it. Whether that's going to be Lilith or someone else. It's sad. Very deeply sad. But it's true. Lilith isn't just that, though. Lilith has shown me love, strength, compassion. She helps people with boundaries. She helps people realise their true worth, their true power. She's done that for me. And she does that for a lot of people. But it's not just that she does. She showed me that in her necessary evil, in having to do what she does, she is a psychopomp in her own right. And she doesn't take souls and, does bad things with the souls. No, it's a necessary thing because it's going to happen anyways. Where would those souls go, those fresh souls? Or, I'm not saying they're totally fresh, you know what I mean? You might have had past lives and then you're going to be reborn. But you would be a lost soul if you had nowhere to go. Okay, so, I hate to describe it like this, but you're going to be born, and honestly, deities have shown me, and I am pro-choice, and why am I pro-choice? Life does not enter you until your first breath, okay? Your soul does not enter your body until your first breath. You can believe what you want, and I'm not saying that it feels like they're alive. I mean, they're obviously a living thing, but they're not fully their own being until you're in the world. Okay, so with that in mind, you're a soul. You're going to reincarnate. You're about ready to reincarnate and something happens. The vessel is gone. Let's say it like that. It's sad, tragic, awful. So you're like, oh, well, where do I go now? On the soul side of things. That's where she comes in. And it's like, right, that one's not ready. This one is. And between us, that happened to me. All right. And that's part of that role. Now, I can't prove that. That's my UPG. I can't prove that. You can give a shit for it, whatever. But I just know it's a necessary thing. And that's a dark being that has done that. Now, there's another dark being, one of Lilith's sisters, a chef, who I've talked about on the channel. She came into my life for a short period of time. We worked together. She kind of is the archetype of Babylon in a way. She's said to be like this divine or dark whore. I hate to say it like that. Mother of whores sort of thing. Anyways, it's said that she eats people's souls. And I said it in the video I made about a chef. It's on the channel. It's on the Deity series. Deities and Spirits I've Met series. She eats people's souls. I shit myself. Of course, if she's coming to you to eat your soul, you'd shit yourself, wouldn't you? That's what it's said, anyways. Now, I don't think she consumes them herself, from what she's told me, but she is responsible for doing something to those souls. But it's not just anyone, all right? It's people who have done heinous atrocities, heinous, vile acts in living life. She is a harbinger in that way, a destroyer. And there are other deities like that. Nidhogg from the Norse, the dragon that eats the souls of the unworthy, sort of thing. I believe Shiva as well, to an extent, does this. But I don't know too much. I know he's known as a destroyer. It is the archetype of, I guess vanquishing evil in a way. Because even though, good, light and dark, good and bad, it's not that clear cut. But a human being could do something absolutely terrible. They don't go unpunished for that. There has to be someone just as terrible to punish them, if you get what I'm trying to say. But then a Sheth came to me. Again, it was at the time to help me with boundaries and self-confidence and things like this, so she can give strength. She can give lessons, and good lessons. So that's some examples, that when it comes to deities as a whole, but our guardians, as in a guardian angel, a guardian demon, we have one of each spectrum that are guarding us, and it's not always a named person, it's not always a deity. It could be someone very personal to you. And the way I try and explain it is that there are minor spirits out there, even in Hellenic mythology, for example. You've got all the nymphs and nature spirits and things like this. There are so many spirits out there, right? And there are so many on the light side and on the dark side. It doesn't mean good and bad, we've established that. So we all have one. And a lot of us, it's very personal to us. So when I do those confirmations, I get as much info as I can, and I normally speak with whoever is kind of in charge of them, because it is teamwork with this. I mean, Hecate herself, for example, has helpers. Most gods do. They have spirits that might have helped them in life and want to stay with them. They might have, nymphs, for lack of a better word. Hecate has lampads, which are underworld nymphs in Greek myth. All deities have their helpers. And these guardians, they guard us. So they're not guiding us, they're guarding us, they're protecting us, right? It's a protection thing. So unlike a patron god, for example, they might have guided us and they might protect us to an extent, but it's not their job to do that. It's not their job role. So we all have a guardian on the light side and on the not so light side. And yeah, that's what I wanted to clarify there, because I'm getting asked that a lot, that the angels and demons thing, it's not as clear cut as you think. Now, when it comes to deity work as well, what I would say is don't go into it expecting something short term, like a pact. Things like this. You can do pacts with deities. You can do pacts with all beings, really, if you really want. But that's very transactional. These sorts of spirits are here for our highest good and for us to evolve. Life lessons, soul lessons, not just life lessons. So they want us to learn and grow and be unapologetically us in our power, strong. So if you're constantly, looking at things from a kind of base level, then you're not getting results, really. You might get short-term results, but not long-term results. So although pacts can be useful for things that come up in life that we need or want, they're not everything. So don't go into something being like, right, Loki, I want you to give me, power. Power to make friends or something. I don't know, off the top of my head, that's what I'm thinking. All right, okay. And what's that going to achieve? You might make friends with people that are not in your highest good, and then you're back to square one. I'm trying to think of any more frequently asked questions I get. Yes. Deities as well do not see the colour of your skin. They do not see your background like that. But there are deities that belong to a closed practice, okay? Many different closed practices. Now, one example I can give you is Oshun, who is part of Ifa traditions. She's an Orisha. She's an amazing lady. I've spoke with her several times. And she is from a closed practice, and it's closed because you have to be initiated into it. And why? Because some people have a feeling and a theory that, well, you know, if spirits don't see the colour of our skin, if they don't care like that, if they see our souls, and we're all one consciousness, we're all in this together kind of thing, why does any of this matter? You know? Well, it matters out of respect because, like I said, deities are archetypes. And the culture they come from, the background they come from matters. So when it comes to a tradition that is a closed practice like Ifa, for example, that never died out. People tried to make it die out. I know that, which is sad and wrong, but it didn't. So the traditions that come along with the worship of deities and the beliefs they have in that belief system never died out and is still going strong. And it's a method in the belief of, okay, I know they have certain divination methods, for example. They know how to tap into, speaking with Oshun, worshipping and honouring Oshun, for example. And they have certain ways of doing that outside of the closed circle sort of thing, outside of the people who are in that, do not know. Now, in the modern age, yeah, things get leaked, information shared. It can be good, it can be bad as well. If you don't go about it in the right way, you are disrespecting the Orisha. And Oshun, she actually told me this once. I was going to film a video on it at the time, but since I'm on this long rambly video now, I'll explain. On TikTok, it was a whole hoo-ha a while ago, obviously TikTok again, but a white lady who is a tarot reader was channeling messages from Oshun. Now, Oshun's came through me before, but only for people, certain people. I've never channeled a message from Oshun for the collective. If she wanted to, I wouldn't say no, but I'd go about it very respectfully and tread carefully. But this woman kept doing it, and there were people calling her out. Oshun explained to me that there is certain divination methods that have been built up over years and years and years, and certain ways to respect her that she, as a woman, an archetype, a goddess, a spirit, she likes, she finds it respectful, and you can get the best answers out of from her. She's not totally opposed to other things, of course not, but if you want to work with her long term, then you must be part of that tradition, okay? This woman on TikTok wasn't part of it, and she just kept doing these readings, and it wasn't just a one-off or anything, it was a bit disrespectful. People found it like that because of these readings, and I asked Oshun about it at the time because I was curious and I kept it personal. She does speak through tarot. She does speak. It's not just tarot. It's through your abilities. And yes, she did say that, yes, at first it was her. It was her speaking. But now she found it disrespectful. And this is the thing with any deity, closed or not closed. That's why you research them. That's why you look into the cultures. Because what is respectful to one culture isn't to another. If you look to like Hellenic times, for example, giving blood as an offering, some people do that, was highly disrespectful because blood was dirty. But giving blood to a different sort of deity, the ultimate respect. Now, yeah, I think, say Apollo could look past that, for example. He gets the modern world, people change, things evolve. But if you want to come at it from a place of respect, you research them. But yes, it's important with closed practices that, yes, you may get a deity come through from a closed practice in these readings. I can't tell them not to. I can't. But I specify you must speak with people from that practice. If you really are serious, look into getting initiated. It's a life change if you are going to be doing that. It's not just for anyone. And that was an example. It's not just the Orisha. There are many closed practices, things that you have to be initiated into for a reason, because there are systems in place, there are religious beliefs in place, and systems, initiatory systems, divination systems, magical systems, spiritual systems in place with these spirits built up for hundreds of years, if not more, that have never died out, just strengthened over time, that you can't just mishmash it and, insert yourself into something. That's disrespectful. It's different when, I don't know, the Egyptians, for example, the Kemetics, that belief died out. Yes, people, in Egypt and in Greece, for them and wherever, they do, recognise the heritage side of things, but other religion took over. Islam, Christianity. Greece is a very orthodox country, but I do know in Greece that there are sections of people that are reviving Hellenismos, for example. Hellenismos died out. What we've got now is a reconstruction. So if you are going to be a Hellenic pagan, you can be. It is an open practice. It is open because anybody could join that if they wanted to. And then you are showing respect in your way through those teachings. But it doesn't mean that you can only contact Athena in a certain way through the Hellenic rituals that they do. Athena has not had a set religion for thousands of years. So Athena does not find that disrespectful, if you see what I mean. Whereas Oshun, for example, has had her people doing these things in this certain way for a long time. So Oshun, if you were interested in Oshun, why not talk with Hathor? That's a similar energy, similar. I'm not saying they're the same. Why not talk with Hathor? Hathor is the goddess of love and fertility and things like this in Kemetic mythologies and religion. So why not pursue that instead if you can't be initiated, if you can't change your life in that way? That's just my theory on that, but that is why some deities are off limits, sort of thing. But it doesn't mean they won't come through with a message. Do with that what you will. But if you start talking with them all the time, wanting to connect with them, well, you're going to have to shake it up a bit. You're going to have to go get initiated, get some help, get some advice. Anything else I can think of? This is a long video, sorry. I usually do just get people asking, well, why are they coming to me and how, and do I have a patron? Is there more than one? Is it a lifetime connection? Well, all these things. What's the guardian? What's light and dark? I mean, people get scared of left-hand path deities, and I get it, and maybe you're not ready for it. One other thing before I go, I've just sort of Godspousing. Godspousing is a thing. It's a new word. And, I'm not invalidating it. It's a thing. It can happen. And it did happen in antiquity, and in certain religions it still happens now. Especially like really ancient religions, you could say, if you dedicate your life to a deity and they're your everything, there were certain practices out there where people of power would sleep with priestesses of certain deities, and then it was like you were sleeping with a god, for example. There are Christian nuns, for example. I know that's nuanced and that's got its own thing, but it is dedicating your life to a deity. And I don't think people realise sometimes how serious it is. It's valid, it's real, it can happen, okay? yes, it can be romantic in that sense. It depends on the deity. They're not going to be leaving their mythological, like wives for you. Hades, for example, isn't going to leave Persephone for you. You get what I mean? It is not platonic. Uh, it can be platonic, I meant to say, but it is not exclusive. That's what I meant to say. Like, if you have a connection with a deity, even if it turns romantic, you're not the only one, all right? And you've got to think about what the hell you're doing. This is a lifetime commitment, and not just this life. I mean, you get kids out here, especially again TikTok. It's always been the way, saying I'm in love with Apollo or whoever. It's always Apollo, bless him. That's just me saying bless him. Sorry, but you're all right. You're in love with him, but you're 19, and I'm not meaning to be this person, but you've got a lot of life to live yet. This is a lifelong commitment. Do you think he's going to take that lightly if you 10 years down the line decide it's not for you anymore? So I'm not saying it doesn't happen, and I do offer readings on it because of that. But it isn't always romantic. It isn't always exclusive. It's a lifelong thing. It must be dealt with more respectfully, I think, than what a lot of people do see it as. And it's not something to be taken lightly, because you're giving up your life for a deity in a way. Like, you got to be serious about this. It's got to mean a lot to you. It's not a decision to be made overnight. So I just wanted to get that out there too. Yes, it's possible. Yes, it happens. Think about it before you do it. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. If you do have questions about deity confirmations or, deities in general, like deity work, things like this, put it in the comments below. I'll try and answer, help each other out as well. I can't try and answer as many people as I can, but I literally can't at the moment. I'm running out of time a lot of the time. But please help each other out. Be kind to yourself as well. I just feel I need to say that. It's your journey, whether you're a pagan or not. It's your journey. Be kind to yourself. If you made it this far, thanks. I know it was a longer video. You may as well hit subscribe. Until next time, stay safe, stay witchy. Bye.